Welcome back to another episode of Collection Wars. Look at that. We got a change in scenery here. Look at that, Michael. Oh,
By
man.
your command. I know, I'm geeking out. Man, I'm sorry, but to everybody out there, this is official Battlestar Galactica week.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Is it really like actually officially?
It is right now.
You just turned it into it.
Damn right.
That's awesome, man. That background looks amazing, Michael.
Thank you, Gabe.
And rightfully so for today's guest, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. So I just got the Cylon in, and the gentleman that we're getting ready to have on, he's a good friend of mine, and we've been friends for years now. And I'm blessed to have a lot of his art in my gallery. And we've mentioned him on several, talks. The Michael Planty collection. When we talked to Michael Planty, there's a huge variety of the models and details that were done by the wonderful Marc Elkins. Kurt Kuhn, everybody knows Kurt Kuhn. He had Mark running wild for a long time, building a lot of his stuff as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's bring him on.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah,
Let's
right?
get him in there.
Hey, what's up, Mark? How you doing?
Hey guys, how are you?
Mr. Marc Elkins, man. Finally we get you on the show, right, buddy?
I intended to, but I know my schedule's been crazy, but I'm definitely glad to finally be here.
I just gotta say real quick, bad ass. That Battlestar Galactica is beautiful, brother.
This
Damn.
is the old baby from many years ago.
Yeah.
Actually my first studio scale scratch build.
Wow.
So this is where it all started, and that's when I got hooked.
Yeah. You
Beautiful.
think?
And Mark, what size is that? Just to give our viewers some perspective.
The size?
Yeah.
Size is actually it's over 6 feet, so it's a little larger than the studio model. But of course, at the time I made this, you're talking 2002 roughly is when I began. A lot of things have reference wise has come out over the years and
Of course.
made things more for us, but so it's not exactly the exact precise scale as the original, but it's extremely close.
And
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Hey, and Mark, so obviously we know you like Battlestar Galactica, but what other franchises are you into? What are kind of your favorites?
Well, like you guys, I grew up, we grew up with all the great pop culture of the late 70s and 80s, so pretty much I'm a fan of it all. It's Star Trek, Galactica, Star Wars, TV shows, of course, Airwolf, Knight Rider. I mean, we were exposed to all that back then. So for me, I'm not any specific subject. It's pretty much all of it that I enjoy.
Star Trek.
I know Star Trek doesn't seem to be it seems to be a sensitive subject on this show.
But it's all good. It's all good.
So yeah, we're not gonna go down that road too much, but I figured Galactica, nice treat.
Yes. For sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Mark, I know obviously you and Michael have known each other for several years now, and you guys are friends. But what got you into model making? I mean, just what got you started in this?
Well, before I started doing any kind of movie models or film models, when I was in my teens, I was doing tanks and planes and cars, just general, kit models. There's a picture that I did send you showing the original Galactica being filmed on the studio. And that exact picture I sent you right there, when I first saw that, and I saw that picture years ago, and I thought, how great would that be to have that model? So that was my passion. That picture inspired me to to build the Battlestar. And that picture is that's what started it all for me right there. That exact image.
Did any of the crew that worked at ILM work on these ships, or was it a whole total different model crew, Mark?
Oh, it was John Dykstra was the one, basically the team leader, pretty much.
Okay.
So he did Star Wars. Actually,
Yeah.
there's a photo of the model shop where they're building the Star Wars ships, but you see the Battlestar in the background. That's only at the acrylic stage of the hull. The detailing hasn't even been applied.
Yeah.
So they were doing Galactica and Star Wars together. I from what I know, I don't think Lucas was happy with that. There was kind of some rift there, but yeah, no, they were all part of it back then.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting to know that. Yeah, the same model makers, and I think we've talked about this in the past, Michael. Right, that a lot of the model kit parts that you recognize, you'll sometimes catch them on both Star Wars and Battlestar ships. Right, is that right, Mark? Do they share some of the same pieces?
Yes.
Correct. There's so many common kits that we've us builders have come. Like Jason Eaton, he would know. There's a lot of the same kit that was used on Galactica, Star Wars, and even Star Trek: The Motion Picture. The motion picture. That starship has some bits and pieces from some of the parts that are on this as well for detailing.
Wow.
But yeah, that's when I started identifying a lot of the kit parts years ago. That's what really got me even more kicked into it, because now I had a place to go to find the parts.
Right.
So, and that's where it gets expensive. Actually, is the kit parts.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
So building a hull, I mean, that's not expensive. Plexiglass, wood, I mean, no, that's not going to cost a lot, but the amount of model kits you're going to need, that's where the cost is just really up there.
Yeah, and some of them are long gone, right? So they're even harder to find, and I'm sure people mark them up, right? And on eBay.
I've had some parts that when I was building this, I went on eBay to find some old school parts that were out of production. So yeah, it's that part makes it challenging as well.
What always amazes me, Mark, is people like, of course, you and Neeson and Salzo and Eaton, the reference that it takes, the knowledge to know what kit parts go where. Like, we're working on the Star Destroyer and seeing all these pictures that Mike's sending me, and then I'll share those pictures with you, and you're like, "Yep, that's right." Or no. It's like how there's only a handful of you guys that actually know that stuff in the first place, but it still just blows my mind the knowledge behind all of that, and it's so intriguing. And that's just to stare into these models. That's why I love the studio. I can tell you, out of all my collection, I love the studio scale the best. It's my absolute favorite. I love studio scale. So it's just incredible to see how you guys put this stuff together. I mean, these aren't kits that you go and buy from the store. I mean, you create this stuff from nothing, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's the art form I love, because of course movie studios back when these were made, the computers weren't able to generate this, so they had to craft it by hand. And me, I'm not a fan of CGI. I mean, CGI has its usefulness, but of course, I love a physical model. I mean, you can touch it. I mean, there's all kinds of things about it that makes it amazing, but it's an art form that's gone away. Of course, in The Mandalorian, I heard that from what I found out, they used actually the Razor Crest was actually a physical model.
Yeah.
And I think that was cool that they kind of went back to that, and it looks great.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what we were talking about a couple of shows ago. We were saying that, I mean, you guys that are in the studio scale business and building these and just really keeping this art form alive, you literally are keeping history alive, because some of these processes and parts, once I mean, once you guys are gone, essentially they're gone, right? Because a lot of, even some of the smaller parts, they're still kind of secretive, right? There's a lot of parts that only a certain handful of people in the world know what is used, right?
Yeah, and that's where, for our generation, like I said, we grew up with this. We grew up with the love for the shows, and then as like for me, I didn't imagine when I was a kid that I would build something like this when I was, an adult.
Yeah.
But my passion for it, because I've being a collector also, I just don't build. This is for my pleasure, of course.
Right.
But the next generation, like my children, for example, I mean, they don't have that connection to the movies like we did.
Right.
So their passion for something like this is not going to be the same.
Right.
So for us, yeah, we're still continuing what the guys at ILM did back in the day, which I'm sure even those guys would have never imagined that these 7, 8 year old kids would be building this stuff years later.
Yeah.
But I love the art form. I just it's really gratifying, and to have like that picture you showed of the Galactica on stage. To me, it was just so cool to think, how cool would it be to have a model that large in your home?
Right.
So as a collector, I desired to have that. I had a passion. I love Battlestar Galactica, so I took it on, and I've been very pleased with it. And that's where the studio scale, like Michael, you just want to collect more of it.
That's right.
And having something the same size as the filming model was always appealing to me.
I'll never forget, Mark, when I first met you. You were the first one to commission one of my studio models. There was a couple that I had bought already, like a couple from Randy Cooper that were already built.
Mhm.
But I remember talking to you and you specifically telling me that once you get started on the studio scale, be ready because you're going down a deep, dark rabbit hole and it never ends. Because I remember you saying that, and holy crap! Ever since then, I can't even tell you how many studio models and patience. Holy crap! I've had to learn, everything involved in the patience of getting these things built, and I'm so fortunate to have people like you, Mark, that have commission stuff for me, and I've learned so much through you guys on the studio stuff. And I really think that studio scale models are continuing. The good news about what Gabe was saying a few minutes ago is I think that the studio scale, through all of the collectors out there and things that we do on the channel to try to put it out there on studio scale, it's absolutely expanding to another level with all the 3D going on. Now, there's a few of us like me that do like that scratch built and reference type models, but they're coming out with some pretty nice 3D stuff now that just needs nice paint jobs and whatnot. I don't even know, your knowledge on the 3D printing stuff, Mark, and your thoughts about the 3D printing.
Um, Personally, um, 3D printing, I'm not, I don't have a big interest in it personally. I like to handcraft still. 3D printing definitely has its usefulness. I mean, it's proving to be very useful in your 8 foot Star Destroyer. So, yeah, I'm not against it at all. For me personally, right now it's not for me, but I'm very I've always considered myself very old school. I'm old school with my movies, with my TV shows, with the types of ships I like or whatever. That's kind of where I'm happiest.
It's our time machine back to our happiness. That's what our
Yeah,
show's all about, right?
that's what we talk about, right? And
Mhm.
that's it's that feeling that we get when as collectors, obviously as builder, you as a builder, it's kind of bringing us back to that moment in time, right, in our childhood where
Mhm.
we're just happy kind of with our toys, right, and with our movies.
Well, that's exactly it. Is able for me, I enjoy taking something home from the movie. I mean, something of these scales. I mean, there's plenty of fans out there, Star Wars of any subject, that would love to have something major from the movies they like. Of course, cost is always a factor. Um, but yeah, I mean, I mean, we grew up. Personally, I think we grew up in the sweet spot when it comes to entertainment. Because if you look at the movies going into the '90s up until now, is there anything that really wows you anymore compared to back then?
Yeah.
I mean, back then when Star Wars came out, we were all wowed by it. These
Yeah.
lines around the theater, you don't see that anymore.
No, you're right. You're right. It's sad too, Mark, because you hit it perfectly. It's like this generation, they'll never have that feeling that we had when we got to see Star Wars, and we're so lucky. And there's a few people like us that raise their kids, without the social media where they can actually let them see that and have that wow effect. There's a few of them out there that do that kind of stuff, but yeah, with technology nowadays and the art form of the CGI has killed so many art forms. It's not killed just studio scales. It's killed the artists that draw, the stuntmen. Stuntmen now with CGI, they're doing explosions and doing a lot of other stuff where it's actually hurting stunt people that are in the industry as well.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's changed quite a bit, but for us, I remember the very first Alien movie from Ridley Scott. That was a movie no one had ever seen a horror sci-fi film like that. I mean, nowadays you don't have people seeing a film like that and going in the lobby and throwing up. you know, um, so the wow factor from what these movies back then created, I mean, it was just an amazing time for films.
Yeah.
So but nowadays when a film comes out, okay, it might be a great film come out, but there's no impact really anymore from
Yeah.
films coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, and especially like on that practical side, right? I think that's the one thing that we did lose, and you're right. I think Mandalorian, and I think the new wave of kind of directors, they're starting to try to bring it back.
Mhm.
Trying to bring back practical effects, but I mean to the scale that it used to be, I don't,
Yeah.
it'll never get back.
Well, like for Mandalorian, John Favreau, he's the same age as we are.
Yeah, that's why he does it.
So he has an appreciation for the CGI running, the camera down a track and passing the camera by the model.
Yeah.
Um, and it looks fantastic because all the shadows on the model are natural. I mean,
Yes.
real. So when you try to CGI any kind of ship, it always looks animated.
Right.
Okay. You can't, the physical model is the best effect. Of course, it's more costly.
Yeah.
For the Mandalorian, they had to get the motion control track put up. They had to basically, resurrect all this stuff that was never, not used anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But get the result when the ship goes by on the camera, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So the old school art form they're introducing, the puppets, the models. Of course, I'm a huge fan because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to keep alive. So creating something like this, we are keeping it alive. I've taken my models like this. I've taken this to several shows in Vegas that they've had, horror science fiction shows. Just to show it. That was all. It's been seen by Bob Burns. I don't know if you know who he is.
Oh yeah.
So I was talking with Bob Burns and Greg. Does Greg Nicotero ring a bell?
I don't know.
No,
He's
not like
he's a sci-fi supervisor for Hollywood. He did a lot of The Walking Dead.
oh, okay, nice.
So he's in the industry. So when I remember I took this to a show in Vegas in 2004. I just dropped it off for the weekend. I didn't stay the whole time, and then I came and picked it up on a Sunday evening. And the people that host the show were trying to get a hold of me. Of course, they didn't have a number for me because I was just going to pick the model back up. But Greg was at the show, and he wanted to see if I would sell it.
Yeah.
So the guy said, "Hey, we tried looking for you. We couldn't find you. His name is Greg. He was in town. I guess he had to fly back to California, but he left a check." He said, "He left a check in case you wanted to sell it." And then he had instructions to leave the model with him and go from there. Of course, I wasn't going to sell it. I told him I'd be glad to speak to him, and he did leave a number, and I was able to contact him, and I found out Greg Nicotero, he's a collector of this kind of stuff also.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
But of course, I've sold a lot of my pieces over the years.
Yeah.
Some of them I regret. This one I've been asked to sell. I just can't let it go.
Yeah, I'm glad. Don't, Mark.
Kids.
Because I want to buy it from you a little later.
My kids, because I have 4 kids,
Yeah.
and they were all very young. They were like 2 and 3. Okay, so they grew up with this model, and they've even told me, "Don't ever sell that one. Sell anything else, but not that." So they would kill me.
That's cool.
But so yeah, no, I have a love for this stuff. I never intended to sell or build for other people. I always built for myself. It was just, my enjoyment. But then, Kurt Kuhn really kickstarted that off for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of him, I became more known. And that was never my intention. I wasn't intending to go out and show any of my stuff. I was happy with, my own collection.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to post things, and then of course he asked me to build things for him, and then I spent like 5 years straight just building everything.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then that's how you got a hold of me, Michael, right through.
It is. It was through Kurt Kidd. I saw his first the YouTube video, and he had all of the red leaders lined up, and I kept rewinding and listening. He would say, built Marc Elkins, and then, I went and I got a hold of Kurt, and then through Kurt I was able to get in touch with Mark. And very, very. I'm not just saying this because Mark's on the show, but he is very, private and about his stuff. He doesn't brag about his work. He's very humble, and he is. I'm just going to tell you right now. I know a lot. I've met a lot of artists out there, and I'm going to tell you he is absolutely one of the best. I've seen a lot of stuff out there. I've seen him scratch build. So a lot of you guys who are watching are familiar with the gallery, the 16-foot trench. He whipped that exhaust port out in a couple of weeks. It was absolutely, with the way we collaborated, the way he got it built for me. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's right out of the film, So, but yeah, it's just amazing how he has been through the process. And, I know sometimes, a lot of you builders, y'all are in and out because, we all get burned out on certain things that we do. And the reason that you got to hold back, and I understand now, is because, you don't want to lose the love for what you do. Right, Mark?
That's very true. I mean, when you find yourself building a lot, because I was at the time years ago, I was building for multiple people at a time. And, I did fairly well. I came through. It's everybody got what they were asking for, but I realized I was taking on more than I could chew that I was happy with. Because again, I enjoy these things. If I was just strictly a builder, maybe it wouldn't bother me if I was just doing it for money. But I enjoy it personally, so I didn't want that to become something that got taken away from me because I was just doing too much work for other people.
For sure.
So I scaled that back, and then as people would reach out to me, I would respectfully decline, say, sorry, I'm not available to help you, but there's too many people that'll say, yeah, I'll take on your work. Yeah, I'll take on your work. And they take half the money or whatever. And the next thing you know, they're not able to come through because they took on too much.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen to several guys over the years. I never wanted that to be me. It never did happen to me because I stepped back for the good of everybody, for the good of the guy I was building for myself.
Right.
So it fairly worked out, but as you know, I scaled back quite a bit over the last few years. You don't really even hear from me anymore.
Yeah.
And
so let's get into a little bit. So obviously, we'll talk through the show. But as you said early on, you're a collector as well. So your favorite out of all of them is Battlestar Galactica.
It is. I would rank Galactica first. Star Wars you could put in second place for me.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
okay.
Galactica, I don't know. It's for something that ran a short time on TV.
Mhm.
I love the ship designs.
Yeah,
Um, the story, I love the story. I thought it was a fantastic show
yeah.
all the way around. So yeah, it's definitely the highlight for me in my collection.
So let's get into your collection. So what is it that let's go get into what you collect, Mark? You got some pictures, Gabe?
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to start off with Mark's collection room, or the model room, right? So that's your kind of your studio, right, where you
Yep.
build stuff. And I love the fact that you have some of these old models, up here. That's beautiful.
Yeah, the all those kits. I wanted to decorate the room with all the vintage kits that I remember growing up with.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, Now those are all still in their original box. They're not built. I spent a ton of money on eBay trying to get most of them back that I remember from back then. But I wanted the room to be kind of inspiring, that time machine, that place you like to go and just sit down and do your work.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's. I just didn't want it. I just wanted something that was memorable, as far as the kid.
And that's this is really cool because again, we have collectors on our show, right? And I'm assuming that they're doing the same thing. I know I do that, right? That's what I wanted. I wanted a time machine in here where I could sit here and do my work and have cool stuff. But yeah, I think you're the first person that's really focused on those childhood models. Which, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, those models, even for me, like, and I'm not big into models. Some of those immediately bring me back to childhood. I immediately, like the AT-AT,
Yeah.
immediately I recognize, all
Mhm.
those Star Wars ones. Awesome.
Well, it's like in that first picture you can see on the back wall the Battlestar Galactica, the old Battlestar Galactica kits.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the Battlestar Galactica model kit when that came out. Of course, my parents wouldn't buy it for me because it was a model. Okay, so but I wanted the Galactica, and it was the only way because they didn't have a Galactica toy. So I remember really wanting it. Then my brother's older than me, so of course he got it, he built it, and I was all crazy for it. Um, so for me, there's a lot of memories in those kits, even just seeing them on the shelf back then.
Yeah.
So when I decided on the model room, I figured, let me just put my collection of kits up just for display, um, just to make it, a little more of that special place that I can work in.
Sure.
And here we see other ones that I've never seen. I didn't even know they had the models for the black hole.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love the black hole as well. I collect a lot of the vintage figures and the Topps cards. I love the black hole.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at that. And get awards from, I'm sure, from conventions and stuff, right?
You might not be able to see it. There's a gold award. Looks like a figure of a guy back there on that shelf.
Yeah.
And that's the Bob Burns Award.
Awesome.
He actually, because when I took this when he was at the show, he gave his own modeling awards at that time.
Wow.
So I got that for the Battlestar. A few things because I would just take them. I really didn't care about competing. I just wanted the public to see the model.
I believe that.
For me, the public, when they see something this big, because it's unusual to see.
Yeah.
I enjoy letting the public get to see it.
For sure.
So there'd be even little kids. Of course, these kids have no clue what it is, but they think it's cool. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I indulged in a lot of that stuff back then. Not so much anymore, but good memories.
Mark, so I know Gabe's getting into this. I haven't seen a lot of the pics that were were sent. Did you send your collection of the figures and whatnot?
I think so. I think I did.
I'll tell you what, I remember when I went recently to several months back to pick up the Star Destroyer, and I'm like, Mark, what's up in that room? I was trying not to be nosy. He's like, that, and that's his room right there. It's just another room. I mean, this guy's got stuff scattered out all over that. It's just amazing. It's a museum tour through his house. Okay, so in this room, the way he's got, I was so inspired when I left there that I had to complete all the Battlestar Galactica toy figures. The way he displays that stuff in the shelves, and even his Star Wars collection of the figures. Look, it's a minimal collection, but that collection shows everything that it was about back in the day. Just the few items that he has displayed. And that's the sad thing, because that's all you need is what Mark has in those little cabinets. That's all you need to be happy with that vintage area. But some of us are sick and lost and have to have everything, and I don't think that it gives you
Yeah.
any different of a reward. I appreciated the way his was displayed more than mine.
Yeah.
Well, some collectors are completists, where they have to have the whole set of something. Yeah, I would love the whole set sometimes, but for the most part, if I just get bits and pieces of the memory, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that you have stuff that's not like, I could see right there, like obviously Voltron, you got Robotech, right? Is that
Yep. Yes, it
is
is.
that Robotech, right? In the second shelf?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yeah. You got
Good idea.
you got Soundwave from Transformers. This is my favorite Transformer, by the way. Yeah, like you got the vintage GI Joes. Yeah, no, and it's perfect. And I think Michael hit it right on right there. What he said, you're right. It's the ones that probably mean the most to you, right, Mark? That I'm sure that you got, right?
It's the whole purpose is because it takes me back.
Yeah.
So we have vintage toy stores around here that deal in a lot of vintage things, and I'll try to go in there and see if there's something that just clicks to my childhood, and that's what it is more than anything. It's not that I want to collect it; it's the memories it gives me. So that's,
Absolutely.
and again, for us, compared to kids nowadays, kids nowadays don't go to the store looking for action figures and stuff like we.
Yeah.
So
That's for sure.
back then, I mean, we would go to a Toys R Us and we would lose our minds, and we drive our parents crazy. You know how it was.
Yeah.
Gabe, I'm sorry to cut you off, Mark. Gabe, I just sent you a short, like 30-second video. Did it come through?
Not yet. No.
Okay. When that does, I don't know if Mark had that, but I took a close up. That little cabinet was one of my favorites. I mean, back into the vintage days. I mean, he's got Buck Rogers in there. He's got, of course, Star Wars, and then the Battlestar Galactica. It's just so. And then he has another little shelf with the GI Joe, and I go, and I like the big 12-inch GI Joe. But then when I saw the figure ones, I was like, holy crap, I had those. And it brought back so many memories, man. I was just so excited when I left there. And Mark, I keep sending Mark all these pictures since I've been at his house. Yeah, look how big that bastard is. Not me. I know I need to lose weight. No, look at that thing. But yeah, there were so many things that when I left there, I was just, holy crap,
Yeah.
You don't want to leave. I didn't want, I felt like I was overstaying my welcome, but Mark was very, very cool with me. He's like, no, you're good. And I'm like, you mind if I go look over in there? So we were walking around and stuff, and damn.
And you need to have an eye out, because look, I could see down there you have the 89 Batmobile, which I'm assuming it's the Hot Toys one, right? Is that the Hot Toys 89 Batmobile?
Yes.
Yeah. And I see obviously some Stormtrooper helmets. I believe the first one, RS, maybe? RS Prop Masters?
The Stormtrooper helmets?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that's the Black Hasbro Black Series.
Wow, that looks amazing.
Oh, this guy can take a toy and make it look like $100,000
Oh,
model.
geez, that looks great.
Yeah.
That's cool. So yeah, so let's jump into some of the. Oops, sorry guys, I'm taking up the screen here. Yeah, let's jump into some of your stuff here that we have.
Yeah.
Let me get it set up really quick. So I guess the first one we'll start out with is this one. Cool. So what do we see in here, Mark?
Yep, that's the studio scale Cylon tanker.
That was for the Planty collection, correct?
Yep.
Look at that.
Yeah, he took all that to the next level by putting those little Raiders, Cylon Raiders in it. None of that came that way. He added all that to it.
I know. Look at that. That's
Yes.
so. And again, I think it shows, right? It shows Mark's love for this stuff, right? And it's a normal builder would be like, all right, I'm just gonna build it. Let's just get it done and get it out of it. I mean, the little attention to detail just goes such a long way.
Yeah, the tanker was a fun build. I enjoyed that one.
And then look at this.
Damn.
Hey, are those the ones that you saw on YouTube, Michael?
Yes. Well, he had 2 sets. I think Mark did 2 sets of those. I sure wish I knew Mark back then, but yeah, look at that. That looks like you're at ILM right there. Look at that damn thing. That's unbelievable.
Those are all the studio scale fighters. That was made for Kurt Kuhn's collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. That's awesome.
That's
he had me busy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have taken reference off of Mark, off of like the Red 6, because there's not a whole lot of reference for Red 6 Porkins, and
yes,
a lot of that stuff. A lot of people have referenced off of a lot of stuff that you did for Kurt, and it's really that's what's so awesome about Modeler Magic, to see all the reference out there.
Yeah, the Porkins paint job was the most tricky one to get done.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
But it turned out well. I mean, it's like I'm not a purist. I'm not gonna. I mean, if I can make something accurate as possible, I will. But if I can make it close enough, I'm happy with that.
Hallelujah.
They're beautiful, man. They're coming up. So look at this. You're just like working away in the living room.
Can you see those sparks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck it.
There's a behind the picture. You ready?
What's that?
Are you guys ready for the story behind this picture?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay. That the room I'm in that we're filming right now with me at the Galactica, that's the same room that picture's in, okay? That's the Salzo large AT-AT model.
Yeah.
Now, I ran into an issue where one of the bolts on the leg was a little bit sticking out too much that the plate couldn't cover it. And I was not going to lug it back into the garage to grind it down.
Honey, I'll be right there.
Okay. I told my wife, I said, here, because I knew what was going to happen. I said, here, take it. Do you need to take a picture of this? And she's like, well, what's going on? I said, just take a picture. I said, don't worry about it. Don't be afraid. It's going to be okay. She thought I was going to burn the damn house down when it started.
By the way, babe, we're getting new floors next week. You don't know about that.
When those sparks, she's like, what are you doing? I said, you're going to set the house on fire. I said, look, I am not carrying this back to the garage. It's staying. So I got the Dremel out. I got the grinder. Took me about a minute. Done. We're good.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. And it's an epic shot now that you have right there. It's like, that is so cool.
That's why I take it. I said, look, okay, this is going to be like a unique shot. You got to take this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why that picture exists. I usually don't grind any of my working models in the house and the carpet. Um, but no, I had to do it that day, and it turned out to be a really cool shot. It was fun.
He had that mindset, kind of like in Close Encounters, when that guy went crazy and he was taking all his neighbors' plants out of the ground and throwing dirt through the window and building in there. He was on a mission.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man. But even so, look, and I know you guys are you studio scale guys. You know, you're focusing on the front. I'm over here focusing on the back. You know, I'm like looking at Mark's collection of just
Yeah.
all that other cool stuff. I see an '89 cowl right there. Right? Is that the Hollywood collectibles cowl or no?
No, that's the deluxe mask that I made a display for.
Oh, nice. Look at the. Oh, look at that. Your Superman stuff. So what's okay? So obviously you're into Superman, and I know me and you talked about this, a little bit last night. We were talking about that sideshow piece, the Christopher
Yes.
Reeve sideshow piece. I know, Michael, you're
I
getting
did.
it, right?
I did order that right after Gabe ordered his. I saw it and I ordered one too.
Yeah,
You getting that, Mark?
the Christopher Reeve quarter scale statue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the original of the Reeve Superman.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm not even gonna ask Mark the typical. I already know what Mark's answer is gonna be. You like Back to the Future, Mark?
Yes.
He
do you think?
knows because he watches the show.
I know, right? What do you think of part 2?
Well, no, I enjoyed part 2 just as much. Now, part 3 was okay. It was fun, but you know, the original, of course, was a classic best.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Michael gives me so much crap because I really like part 2 of Back to the Future, and I really like Temple of Doom. And Michael's like, no.
It irritates me every time he. You know what? I think he's being nice because he knows that what people are going to say, but at the same time, I think he's trying to piss me off.
I mean, it's a little bit of both. A little bit of.
My boy.
That's funny. Well, look. Okay, so now we got one of it's the Death Star gun, right? What are they called? The turret? Is it a turret?
Yep.
Turret.
Look at that. Beautiful.
I was fortunate after I left Mark's place, I got to go visit Kurt and meet him in person and see his collection and see all the amazing pieces that Mark built for Kurt in person, and that was one of them. Correct, Mark? That was his?
That tower turret, I didn't build that for Kurt. He ended up, buying that from me.
Okay.
I originally built that. I mean, I was on a real kick at one time. I mean, I was just building piece after piece, month after month, and I decided to build the Death Star turret out of just enjoyment. And Kurt, there was a time he came to visit. He's visited several times, but on one of his visits, he did acquire it, and he took these blue screen photos, which really looks great.
Is that a kit or did you scratch build that?
That's all scratch.
Yeah, that's amazingly beautiful.
Beautiful. And what's like size wise? Not necessarily scale, but just reference.
The height of that was probably about 18 inches tall.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So, because it's all styrene and kit part detail. The turrets didn't move. They were in that glued into that position.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Let me get into here. So look, Michael sent me some pictures. Might as well let's just jump into it, because speaking of scratch build and building, you started this 8-foot Star Destroyer that Michael is working on, right?
Yes.
And man, so I have some pictures of the hull.
I'm glad you brought those up first. Yeah, Mark, let's get into it because obviously when we saw in the Planty collection, you built a beautiful 6-foot Star Destroyer, and you didn't really care to sell that, but he talked you into it. You ended up selling it, and then you knew later because you wanted to build an accurate out of the Empire Strikes Back 8-footer, correct?
Yeah, that's the story goes. The 6-footer that Planty has, I never intended to sell. That was for my collection. Um, but he came down to pick up one of his pieces, and he got to see it in person. And we he gave me a fair price. It worked out, and I figured, okay, but I definitely wanted another Star Destroyer to put in my collection. Um, so when I went with the 6-foot, at the time I was thinking of space that we had, but I figured, well, this next time around, if I do another one, I might as well go the 8-foot version and just go from there.
Oh, absolutely. Look at that. That thing is crazy.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I have a really good picture several years back when I met Mark for the first time at his place, and when I saw that, I was in. I just couldn't believe it. I just told him, "Look, I know if something ever comes up, man, please think about me." Everything I think has really fallen into place because this would not be happening right now if it wasn't for Mark. What has gone in, the respect that Marc Elkins and Mike Salzo have for each other is an absolute amazing connection. There's no animosity. There's major respect, and it's really cool because I'm able to share a lot of the. So when I went to Mike Salzo to finish this superstructure, um, he was excited about it, and this is Mark's baby. This is my ship, but this is all of our ships. This is my ship. This is Marc Elkins' ship, and this is Mike Salzo's ship. And it's so important that people see the love that went into building this thing because I mean this is a lot of hours, and I remember when I saw it for the first time, Gabe, that he had this huge like drawing. It took up almost his whole garage floor. You remember that, Mark? I mean, we were talking about perfect, but real quick before Mark talks about this, I just wanted to say it just everything fell in place, and I know because Mark has so many things on his plate, and he knew that I was interested in this thing, and to finally see it all coming together, that's Mark's baby, and Mike is doing such a great job to he cares about what Mark thinks about this deal, and it's really cool. I'm so excited how it's all come together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look at that. Look at that. I mean, just that the frame alone, it's impressive. I mean,
Tell us about it, Mark. Tell us about that.
frame. Yeah, you could say sometimes I overbuild and I make it. Um, yeah, it's got a little more weight to it than maybe other people might do, but I'll tell you what, if it falls, it's going to hold up.
Yeah.
Um, but it's definitely I definitely built it to last. I didn't want something just slapped together. Um, I went even as the whole wood frame. Of course, I primered it to kind of protect the wood.
Hmm.
Um, but no, you're right, Michael. With the job Salzo's doing, you couldn't get a better person to take it on.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, he's very respectful. He's just like you, very humble, doesn't put himself out there. He's very private like you. And yeah, it's crazy. And yeah, when it comes to the durability of this, I can tell you straight up, this thing rode in the back of a Suburban from Vegas to Texas and then went R&L carriers up to the East Coast. And there was not one thing wrong with that deal. So, and I'm bringing that thing back myself completely. So.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
it's funny. I started building that one to replace the one I sold, and I still ended up letting it go.
Yeah,
But
but it's good.
you when I realized I was going to part with it, I knew to reach out to you before anybody.
Yeah, thank you for that, man. You know how much I respect you, Mark, and how excited. I mean, I was like, what? Because we did talk about it. Hey, if it ever happens, man, and
Right.
immediately when I got that call, I was on the other phone. I go, give me 30 minutes, and I called Mike, and man, Mike was surprisingly very excited. He's been, you know, working, 10 to 12-hour days, rolling back and forth that he can't sleep at night because he's thinking about what he's going to do next on it. And because it's something different than this same old, he's put his heart and soul in it for sure.
No, all the pictures I've seen of what he's doing it pure justice without a doubt. I mean, it's when when you decided to take it, I had a feeling Mike would probably be the one you would choose to take an
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
take. Um, but no, it's by the time Mike's done with it, it's going to be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. It's really funny because like just the other day I sent, like I say, I sent updated pictures that Mike sends me. I send them over to Mark, and we had Mike had an old engine bell that was clearly too small, but the viewers and me wouldn't have known the difference. But I was sending him these pictures, and there was that engine bell that was on there, just kind of for reference to look at. And Mark's reply to me was like, "Oh, everything looks perfect, except for that engine bell looks a little small." And then I go check it out. I go and I get these beautiful plaques made, signature plaques that Lee was helping me on, and I get these plaques in, and I send the plaque to Mark to see the picture, and he goes, "Oh, those are beautiful. The only problem is the picture of that Star Destroyer is not the 8-foot Avenger." I'm like, "What the hell, man? I would never have known that." But this guy Mark, man, he's killing me. So
Yeah, Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely the picture, the plaques are awesome. Whoever's making them for you,
yeah, yeah.
but the photo was of the New Hope Star Destroyer, not the Empire Strikes Back version.
So we've already given him the new information, so it's being drop shipped to you. So you'll receive that, and a lot of people don't know, but it's because of Mark that I have this beautiful crop circle built Cylon, and to most viewers, you'd never know, but he's going to make this better than what it is now. So the head's coming off, and Mark can't leave anything alone. He's got to take it the extra mile. And it kind of irritates me. I'm not going to lie, because I said, this is the deal, Mark. I'm just going to hang on to this for a few days, and then next week I'll send it to you, and then you can do
Oh,
your magic to it.
yep. Be
Yeah,
more
man.
happy to.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, brother.
So speaking of Battlestar Galactica, let's get back into some of these ships, because we got, look at that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna.
Shit.
Man. So what are we looking at here, Mark?
Well, that one, it's a studio scale Viper. The kit, I bought it as a kit at one of the shows we had here in town. It came with the bottom part of the launch railing, but then one day I decided to make the rest of the tube around it and kind of give it more to look at. So I scratch built the front, the back, the front and rear of it, and the back wall.
Damn.
Look at that.
So that's what they shoot out of the Galactica. Dude, that is badass, man. I love that.
So now, Mark, is the surroundings part? I mean, that's obviously scratch built, right? Like you just kind of got it out of the film, or is that part of the kit?
No, the only thing, the Viper itself and the launch rail that it's sitting on was all the kit.
Oh,
But the front wall at the front of it and the rear and the side wall behind it is all a scratch.
beautiful.
Not 3D printed, bro. Scratch.
I know, man. And this is the inside of this guy, though, right?
Yep, I decided in the show they never showed the inside of the tanker. The tankers only had small time. But when I made it for him, I decided to make one of the bays open with a Raider sitting inside.
Right, which is this one. Which
Yeah.
that's awesome. I actually remember. So this one, it's in Kurt's collection, right? Kurt Kuhn.
No, it's a Michael Planty.
Oh, that's a Michael Plant. That's right, Michael Plant. Sorry,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
And we did see some pictures of this when he was on the show.
Yes.
And man, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's cool seeing the close-ups in light, though. You know,
Yeah,
I love the colors.
the parts. Every time I'm looking at these models, I'm always looking for like parts that I recognize from like Star Wars shit, especially from the only model that I kind of started building was the D'Agostini Millennium Falcon, and I was putting that one together. So I kind of recognize some of the little details and some of the parts. So I'm always like looking and scouting for them.
Yeah, because a lot of them do share many similar parts.
Yeah, that looks awesome right there, man. That's so cool.
Now, see, in that picture, the wall behind the Raider, of course, is closed.
Mhm.
But in that other picture where the lighting is inside, that's with the door open.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Beautiful. I mean, it's amazing work, Mark. I mean, really. All right, let me get some other ones here. And Mark, if you obviously, I mean, we know obviously Battlestar Galactica is kind of your main, one. But as far as Star Wars ships, what's your favorite build? Like just any specific one that you enjoy building the most?
The Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
If I mean, I enjoyed many of the Star Wars ships, but I love the big capital ships like the Galactica and the Star Destroyer.
So what is this one that we're looking at?
So that kit, that's not a Planty model. That was for someone local here in Vegas.
Mhm.
That kit, I think, is a Randy Johnson model kit, if I remember right.
Hmm.
But the owner wanted the display with it with 3 other small Star Destroyers in formation with it.
So I never knew you did that. I've seen that before. I didn't know that was yours.
So lighting up those little destroyers, yeah, that was kind of that was a trick.
Damn, that is so freaking cool, Gabe. I haven't even seen these pics yet.
These are really cool.
Those will actually sit in your palm. They're very small.
Wow.
That is really and Mark, just out of curiosity, did they use ships that small in filming? Like, are there actual studio skills that are miniature that small?
The Falcon, I think. The Falcon.
There's photos of a when they made Empire of a small Star Destroyer that size that was made out of all brass.
Oh, nice.
But I don't think it was actually used. There's photos of it.
Yeah.
But they used their photography to make the other Star Destroyers look smaller in front of Vader's ship.
Yeah.
But with this one, fortunately, those 3 little Star Destroyers there are the Bandai kits.
Ah.
Okay, nice.
And I even lit up the landing bay. You can see there.
Yeah. And that's tiny, right? I mean,
those are the tiny things I ever lit.
Oh, geez.
That's so cool.
Look at that. Look how cool it looks.
So the base, you see the blue tape on the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's tape protecting the Lex. It's a black gloss Lexan base.
Right.
So I put the tape on there to protect it during that time because it was
Scratch.
And yeah, to prevent it from getting scratched. But I got them all in formation. I had the owner. I told him to pick where he wanted all 3 of the little Star Destroyers positioned.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we picked 2 in the rear and 1 in the front.
That's awesome.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
that's such a cool way to display it too, because it just kind of gives it almost like motion, right? It's like
Mhm.
it brings it to life.
So I had them all wired to one switch under the base, so he could just hit the switch. It had a female port where you could just plug in the adapter and go from there.
Beautiful. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is I know I knew Michael you're gonna
Yeah.
man. And
Yeah.
it's such, we always talk about that. Like it is such a slippery slope with this stuff. And
It is.
that's why I haven't even I don't want it, man. I don't want your stuff. I don't want none of your guys's whatever you guys are pushing. I don't want it. But I do. I want them so bad. I just man, just space wise, obviously I can't, but every time, man, I'm
Well,
telling
when it comes to space, when I first built this Battlestar, my friends, family, the first question they had is once they saw how big it was getting, they're like, "Where are you going to put it?" And my response, and also the 6-foot Star Destroyer, and also Michael's 8-foot. When I was building those, they asked me again, "Where are you going to put it?"
Yeah.
I always have the same answer. I don't care as long as I have it.
Oh man.
there you go.
So, yeah, they're huge. They take up a lot of real estate, but honestly, I don't know. I enjoy them so much. I honestly don't give a shit where I'm going to put it. I'll just put it.
Yeah. That's I'm gonna have to steal that with my wife. She's gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Where are you gonna put that?" Doesn't matter.
I don't give a shit.
I have it. That is awesome.
That's always been my take on it. Is that what? I'll figure that out when it comes time.
I wish Mark was my next door neighbor.
Well, there you go. I mean, like, but it just works though. That's the thing. Like you essentially make it part of the, part of the decor. Part of the
Um,
home.
Look at that bitch, man. That son bitch is badass. Hey, what size is that the Viper there?
That's the Salzo 112 scale.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Look at that.
I know.
Look at it. I mean, just look at it.
Just look at it.
Now, you notice how the model is tilted on the stand?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the reason I did that at the time, in the series, there's actually a few shots of the Battlestar flying at an angle on screen, kind of like a fighter is banking. But so I was able to modify the stand to angle it to where it was locked in place, and I displayed it that way for a while. I thought it looked really cool, and that's the same room I'm in now. So there's been so many other pieces added that I had to move the models, and I ended up bringing it back to its level position.
That's not Star Trek stuff over there on the right upper wall, is it?
Wait, is it? Wait, where Star Trek?
Oh, you sold that stuff already. Okay, no problem. That was a long time ago.
But look at this. This is the one that I was just in awe yesterday when I was talking to you. So what are we looking at here, Mark?
Okay, there's a story behind this one too. Also,
Please.
The shuttle itself is the old Halcyon models kit from the 90s. So I had that kit since like 92 or something, whenever it came out. And again, like I said previously, I had this real streak going where I was building something every month. And I decided, how cool would it be to display the shuttle I already had in the docking scene underneath the Nostromo?
That is beautiful. So all of it, you scratch built this whole launch pad essentially.
Yep. I took, I referenced photos and, of course made it look as close as possible. The the shuttle itself, the garage that's cradling it, does retract like it did in the movie. And there you go.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
So
Yeah.
that's the
Good.
retracted there. And also, if you'll notice in that picture, you'll see the name of the shuttle on the side. It says Narcissus.
Yeah.
Now, those details are actually on the model they made for the film, but of course, the camera never picked it up.
Mm.
Look at that. So it literally, is it triggered like with a button or a remote, or like how do you get it to?
So you can either retract it by hand by pushing it back where you see where the orange paint is.
Mhm.
But I also have a lever that I built above it that you have to actually get on like a 6-foot ladder because I've got it mounted up high.
Yeah.
And you can retract it back manually.
Wow, that's cool.
That is so
Hey, can
cool.
you go back a couple where it was a wide shot of that?
Yeah.
Dude, that's badass.
Well, look,
Okay,
I mean,
what's that ship on the bottom there, on the bottom of the screen? What is that?
That's the Nostromo.
Dude, I never saw that. Do you still have that?
Yeah.
and we get to see it. I mean, look at how big we could see the scale right here.
Yeah.
Mark in the back.
Yeah.
That's a large, and it's so cool because you have other pieces in there, so it almost just it's like accents all the other pieces like a big giant display.
Dude, I'm just so excited right now. This is so cool.
I know, man.
Man.
But if you go back to some of you had a picture of it earlier with the shuttle removed.
Yes, this one.
So if you look at that photo, you can see more forward on the picture. You can see the cradle that latches onto the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this.
And if
right?
you there's a door area with a white ring around it.
Yes.
That's the hatchway leading to the back of the shuttle that they would exit in and out of.
Golly.
Detail. I mean, this is crazy. The detail that you're putting there, when most people wouldn't even see it, right? Because obviously the ship would be there, but it's there, right? It's crazy.
It was also there in the movie. If you see when the shuttle leaves, I mean, that detail was actually put into the film, but of course, we never really saw much of it.
Yeah.
But again, at the time I built that, you could say I had a serious hair up my ass, and all I was doing was building models right and left.
Yeah.
You see the hatchway on the back of the shuttle?
Yeah.
Now compare that to the previous picture where the door is, and you see they're identical where they match up.
Yeah. That's, man, I'm telling you, that detail, that attention to detail is just.
It looks like a toy. I mean, respectfully, like something that was purchased. It does not look like it's built. That's amazing.
Well, this one you said this one is a model, right? You said, Mark, this one.
Yeah, the shuttle.
Actual little shuttle, right?
Gotcha. I understand. So you built the base around that, the hatch and stuff. I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah.
It's just recently, Mark. Sorry, that I know you watched the show, so you know that he just saw aliens for the first time in his life, right?
What?
Yeah. We won't get into it. We won't get into it.
Look, we had this show and we were talking about movies, and Michael said he hadn't seen Spaceballs. And I was like, oh, like, how can you have not seen Spaceballs?
Because it sucks. That's why.
Such a good movie. And then I admitted that I hadn't seen Alien or Aliens or any of the movies, and everyone just freaked out on me. They're like, what? You need to go watch them right now. Which I did. I eventually did. I watched part 1 and part 2. So
yeah, those are the good ones.
Those are the two best ones.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and it was, and I hadn't watched Blade Runner either. I'm gonna admit that to you, Mark. And I know, and Michael was like, "You need to go watch it." And honestly, Blade Runner was a little bit harder for me to kind of watch because I usually would get home and I'll try to watch it after work, but I was, I'm tired and it just put me to sleep every time. So it took me like 4 or 5 tries to watch the whole thing. But Alien and Aliens, those I watched all the way through, and
yes, those are. I love both the two Alien movies.
Yeah.
Gabe, did you ever see Close Encounters?
When I was
You
a
better
kid,
tell me yes, dude.
I haven't watched it as an adult. I watched it as a kid for sure because
Okay.
I remember specifically having my uncle pause it at the end scene to try to show me where the ETs are, and he'd be like, "Look right there, the ETs."
Yeah.
But as an adult, I haven't watched it.
Mark, wouldn't it be cool? I think there's only one guy that I know of that made it, but that ship, the mothership at the end,
Uh,
I've always wanted to have that mountain, in the background, the Devil's Tower,
right?
with that ship, man. I would with the little road. I would love to have that.
Well, I don't doubt you're probably going to achieve it in the near future.
Yeah.
I know.
Hey, I know what y'all are saying,
If you build it,
They,
will.
yeah. I got all
And,
kinds of stuff. Look at
and look
that.
at this. This is so cool. You got one of the Tron video games.
Yeah, that. See, that's another memory lane item for me.
Yeah.
Of course, when Tron came out in '82, I enjoyed it as a kid, and of course, the arcade machine was super popular, as you may remember. It's definitely a beautiful cabinet design, very unique.
Yeah.
I ran into someone locally who had one that was in rough shape, of course, after all these years.
Mm-hmm.
But I got it from him for a fair price. I stripped it down 100%. First time I ever did an arcade restore.
Wow.
I got all the new side art, the new marquee, the acrylic, and everything from Phoenix Arcade, I think it was.
Wow.
So I restored it 100%, repainted it a gloss black, and brought it back to its original condition.
And the game works good, huh?
Oh yeah, it's a blast from the past. But I have memories of it from when I was a kid.
Yeah, that makes it even better.
I loved playing Tron, and so it was the only full size arcade machine I ever wanted to, finally get to own.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot about the Tron one, but I remember the one that would have the tanks in there, and they
Yep.
come get. I remember that. That was a really cool game.
Yeah. And then obviously the Destroy the Death Star game, right? And this is the reissue, right? They just reissued these smaller.
Yeah, that's the arcade one-up Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything movie related from that time, I can't resist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Star Trek. Hey, look, it's not. I'm the guy. It's not.
Oh.
This is for Joseph. I'm sorry.
I'm with you.
And you know what, though? It's
Michael secretly just loves Star Trek.
let me tell you guys, because I'm a man's man. I've been telling Joseph, I've been reaching out to him about some Star Trek things, and I can't believe I'm talking about this right now.
Wow.
And I've been telling him, and he's that respectful that he hasn't taken it out there when I kind of make fun of him a little bit, But yet, I've been asking him some questions about. I've been watching on Netflix some of the classic Star Treks, and I watched the original Khan with Montalban or whatever, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this, and I'm like, hey, make sure you don't tell anybody. I got a reputation.
I already know which piece you're trying to buy from him, Michael. I know you're trying to buy the flute. I know you're trying to buy Picard's flute from him.
No.
I remember flute.
Yeah, oh yeah, the flute, man. Damn.
Well, hey,
yeah.
Speaking of Star Trek, what's interesting, you remember when they had the auctioned off everything back in 2006?
I don't know about that.
Okay, all the models, the props, the costumes were auctioned off in New York, I believe at Christie's auction house back in 2006.
Gotcha.
Guess what items do you think went for the most money?
Was it the props, not the ships?
Probably that flute.
The model.
Flute.
Oh, the models. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
More than any of the set pieces, more than the costumes, more than the props, the models went for the most money.
Gotcha.
So because that's what I would be interested in, would be the ship.
For sure.
But you got the Enterprise from the Next Generation, I think, went for 500,000.
Wow.
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 So, but it even surprised them because the auction kept going up. It kept going up and up, and actually, I think it surprised them. They didn't think it was going to go that high.
Huh.
But I mean, if I had the money, sure, I would have loved to have owned something like that.
Yeah. It's not going to devalue.
And it's actually interesting because and correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't really watched too much Star Trek, but in Star Trek, the ships really only come out like in very small, short scenes, right? Maybe going from one scene to the other, or are there big like ship battles and
Well, I mean, I'm not a real Star Trek fan, but the most the first movie that came out back in '79,
Mm-hmm.
and then Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan are my two favorites.
Yeah, I like the Wrath of Khan. That's my favorite one.
And,
I mean, I don't like any of them, but if I had to, it'd be the Wrath of Khan.
well, the refit Enterprise that they made for the movie, I thought was a beautiful looking ship.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I the one that Kurt had built. Did you see those pictures?
Yes, yes.
I started that in the early stages, and then he had Dan take over and finish it.
Your heart just wasn't in it because it was Star Trek.
Right. But
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, of course, but yeah, I can definitely appreciate a lot of it. So.
Me too. Me too.
Let's get back to some cool stuff here.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, look at this. That is so cool.
That's a beautiful New Hope Vader. Yeah, hey Gabe, I knew you would like that. The helmet that you got your scroll on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And are those clapper boards? Did you just kind of custom made them, or did you have someone?
No,
make them?
I found those local.
Oh, nice.
Already made, ready to hang.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. See, yeah, you got the sideshow. I like how it's displayed like that separately with the helmet up like that. That's always been kind of my favorite helmet. The reveal.
Gabe, do you have that piece, that sideshow bust?
I don't. That it's always been one of the ones that have been kind of in the back of my mind.
Okay.
I've always thought about if I did buy it, I don't know if I would display with the Sebastian head. I always thought about doing it like the like the tiered level,
right?
Like that. But that's beautiful, and that's that EFX, right? That's the EFX helmet.
Yeah, both the helmet on the life size and the one in the case are both EFX helmets.
Oh, nice.
Didn't you custom paint one of those?
The one that's in the display case on the post.
Yeah.
That was a regular edition EFX helmet, but I modified it because in the first Star Wars movie, you have the brush streaks of the gunmetal on the cheek.
Yeah.
So I modified it to give it the original New Hope paint job, and even put the little C scar on the cheek and all the little details that it was.
Yeah, no, yeah, EFX. The only one that they replicated that was the Legend edition, and that's the one that they left the brush marks and the C scar and all that. But yeah, those are hard to come by now these days.
Yeah, so I picked up two of them, and I just made that one look like that version by repainting it.
Awesome.
See, now we're in Gabe's world, so he's understanding and he's so knowledgeable. And I don't know if anybody can see the close up. He was fortunate enough, like a lot of people out there, unlike me, to get David Prowse hanging out with him, and that was really cool. I remember seeing that photo when I first met Mark.
Yep, David Prowse, he came to Vegas in 2007. That was the last time he ever came, but I was fortunate to meet him, and I didn't know he was here. I found out like last minute that he was at one of the casinos, and I hauled butt and got over there.
Very cool.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing I was actually, Mark, I was was talking to Michael earlier this morning. And I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I was talking to Mark a little bit, and I was really surprised because I thought you were just gonna be a model guy, just talking studio scale. And when I saw that you had prop replicas and everything, I was just like, oh man, he has like so many cool other things. And I was like, and I told him that I was like, Mark, I think you're familiar with some of the videos that I did on YouTube. I was like, man, that's so cool.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, that's what's funny because when I started seeing you and Kurt's videos or Michael's videos, I'm like, I remember you because I used to see your videos a few years ago, and then I thought, well, how ironic is this? I thought the way you had your display was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool that we kind of all interconnected eventually.
That's exactly right.
No,
I share the same interest. I'm not just models. I like the helmets. I mean, I pretty much like it all.
Yeah. That's what's badass. And I love that freaking, and that's another thing, I've been looking forever for that Efx Battlestar Galactica Viper helmet, and holy smokes, man, to find that thing is, I mean, they went over $3,000 for that damn thing now. Initially, wasn't that like $700, Mark?
Yeah, when I got it, it was about 700. Because I got it when they first released it.
Yeah. The signature, right?
Yeah, with Dirk Benedict and Richard Hatch.
Yeah.
But now these collector prices are freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You're looking at what, 3,000, 4,000?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going for right now.
Personally, I mean, it's a fantastic helmet. They did a fantastic job. I wouldn't pay that much for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you run into one for a decent price, I'd say definitely grab it because I think the Viper helmet I've always loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
But EFX did justice. They really did a really nice job on it.
What the leather jacket? Whose jacket is that? Is that just a fan made one or?
Under the helmet?
Yes.
No, that's the Anavos battle jacket.
I got it. Did you just recently got it then, didn't you?
See, I've never ordered from them before.
Okay.
So I learned the hard way, like a lot of people.
Yeah.
I ordered that jacket in 2017.
Wow.
I just got it this year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know if I was ever going to get it. After a couple of years, I emailed them saying, maybe you can just refund the money because I didn't know if it was ever going to happen.
Right.
But then when I saw the email saying it's being shipped, of course I was excited, but the jacket's great.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Anovos. Like, obviously a lot of people, tend to trash talk it. And yeah, I've never had a problem with the Novos. Everything that I've ordered, I've gotten, I mean, honestly, in a timely manner. Some of the stuff I've purchased aftermarket, but the quality of the stuff, when it does arrive, I mean, it is great. And that's the one thing people forget. Yeah, obviously the delays and all that stuff, obviously, but once you get the stuff, in my opinion, it's really good.
Okay, real quick, I'm sorry, Mark, on the Cylon right there, underneath the belt, what's that silver area right there? What is that?
Now, if you look at images of the show or the original costume,
okay,
you'll see a band around the lower waist like that, below the belt. Wouldn't know what to call it, but I did mimic that texture band around it.
Okay.
But when you get a chance, try to look up some original Cylon costume photos, and you'll know.
I will. I definitely will.
So,
man, you did a great job. Yeah, if you guys can see behind me, it's just black. And you guys can't tell either, the people that do care. Yeah. See, it's missing. There's nothing there. And and how he bulked up the arms there around the elbows, and he did it around the collar. Mark took it to the next level, like everything else he gets. He can't leave well enough alone. Like I said earlier, he just takes it and just makes it marks. And it's that much better. It's so beautiful.
And Mark, what about that gun that's right here? This blaster. What? I know we compare it to it. That's obviously from Battlestar as well, but it's like even autographed and everything, right?
Actually, that is the Colonial Blaster, but the plaque that's sitting in front of it belongs to
Mhm.
the helmet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, got it. That is cool. And look at this, Michael.
Oh, I know. By the way, Mark, we were just talking about this guy. Um, they're running my card on Monday. It's finally shipping. I should have it by next Friday.
That that is my favorite life size piece.
Yeah, that thing is. Yeah. Hey, Mark, tell people about this piece because the only reason I ordered mine again. I mean, look how much Mark inspired me, Gabe. I mean, I was at his house. I got a life size Cylon now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a copycat pattern going on right here. You know. And you know what though? And real quick, let me just say, he's so cool about it. He's not like, nah, this guy's copying what I got. I mean, he's so freaking badass and helps me. Yeah. And then if you want to do this to make it like this, I mean, he's like all these other humble collectors out there that just enjoys what we do, you know? And that just makes it that much more. But hey, Mark, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of excited right now. Tell people what you did with this piece.
Well, Gabe, can you widen back out on it a bit? Now you see the pulse rifle sitting above his head on the shelf.
Yeah.
So that version of the figure comes with both pulse rifles are fastened to his hands, which is actually a cool pose. But I wanted one hand completely free so you could kind of see more of the detail of his arm. So yeah, I mean, who's going to spend that much money and take it in the garage and start hacking it up? But
Mhm.
I wasn't happy with it,
Mark will.
so now those guns. I mean, they're fastened to the arm. You actually have to almost break it to get it off.
Yeah.
So I did some surgery on it, removed the gun, which is actually pretty cool because now you got a gun you can hold if you want, because it's not stuck to the arm. Um, the torso itself, I didn't like how low it sat on the torso. So I cut it up and raised the torso probably 3 or 4 inches.
Oh wow.
And the pistons on the chest. There's two pistons that come from his shoulders to the center of his chest. Sideshow, the angle those pistons were at were completely wrong. And I didn't discover that until after I'd had it. But those pistons, I had to break those pistons off and reposition them the right angle.
Great.
Man,
Because,
that's
I mean, Sideshow is, they're okay, right? They're good. They're good. But there's so many details I've seen from many other products that is just off. It's not. It's if you really want to be
Yeah.
more correct. But
Yeah,
I
they've
just
changed. They've changed. They're more of a mainstream, just shoving things in and selling it kind of thing.
so I just spent some time and you know modified it to make it a little more accurate, and then it turned out great. I'm very very pleased with it. I
yeah,
mean,
it
out of
looks
the box, it's
amazing.
fantastic.
I have a feeling Michael's gonna pack it back up and be
No,
like,
I'm
Mark,
not. I'm
and
not.
Mark,
I'm not. I'm
expect
not.
it comes in multiple boxes, I'm assuming, right? Probably like 3 or 4.
I think it's like 5 boxes, and they'll ship it freight.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the damn thing weighs like 300 pounds.
Oh,
Damn.
So I mean, it's extremely heavy. It's a hell of a solid piece. I mean, it was great when FedEx. I remember when they showed up. I mean, I was excited. They had to have one of those hydraulic lifts, bring it down off the truck, and then gosh.
That's cool.
I love the way you have it displayed too with the mirror.
I was
Because
going to say the same thing, Gabe.
yeah,
Yes.
you miss, a lot of the detail on the back. That mirror is just perfect.
Yeah, well, Michael, if you center, I would recommend for you if you center. I don't have the room to put it in the center of the room where you can walk around it.
Yeah.
But there's so much detail on the back that if you don't have anything like a mirror, you're missing a lot of stuff you could see.
Right. Right. I have a place for it already here, and it's actually, believe it or not, it's this back corner, right, but where the Cylon is in that back corner right there is where this is a 12-foot open window and the center glass opens. So I was going to put him here in the back. So in the main living room area, that's where I was going to put him. So, and then another thing that he did is the bullets, Gabe, he put bullet shells down there, and also that's a resin helmet, right, Mark, that you fixed up as well?
Yeah, on the base, I added another T800 skull that was a kit.
Yeah.
That I kind of just chopped up and made it look,
Wires hanging out and shit.
Yeah, like it was ripped off. And then I added a little more. I added real like bullet casings and shells on the littered the base to give it a little more detail.
And the only difference, the one that I've got coming, Mark, the difference is you were telling me it's just that it has a wireless remote to turn his eyes on. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I like about the one you're getting. For me to turn on the eyes, you just got to touch the button on the side of the head.
Yeah.
But yours has two remotes that you can just hit a remote and do it.
Gotcha.
And there's another shot of it, and I mean, it's just impressive. Every single time I see this thing, I'm just like, wow, it's crazy.
Guys, look at that freaking Airwolf helicopter back there, dude. Look at the size of that sumbitch, man. You can almost get in that thing. Look how big it is next to the
I know. That's the
jacket
first
stuff, the guy, it's huge.
Yeah, no. When I was talking to Mark yesterday, I was like, what the heck? How big is that helicopter back there? That's huge.
Is that a Star Trek ship under there?
Yeah, we got another Enterprise sneaking in the shot.
Oh my gosh, Mark! I told him when he took the photos, Gabe, but obviously he doesn't listen.
No, but that '89 Batman, the Batmobile makes up for it, because that's
you like that.
I love that, and especially
everybody likes that one.
That Hot Toys one, it's just the scale of it is just perfect. It's just, man, that's one of the pieces I wish I would have got, like that and the DeLorean. I kick myself for not getting those.
Me too.
I missed out on DeLorean.
Yeah.
And now, if you try to buy it, I mean, it's just crazy.
27 to $3,000.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh, look, you got little baby Grogu. Little baby.
What did you do to him, Mark? Go ahead, tell us.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't. The only thing I did that's the Hot Toys life size one, or not Hot Toys. I'm sorry, Sideshow.
Sideshow.
The only thing
rub down the cheeks.
I didn't do anything to his skin. I did put the Mandalorian necklace on him.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't really do any modifications to him.
And what are these? Are those lightsabers in the middle? What are we?
So there's a lightsaber down right there where you're pointing that David Prowse signed when he was here.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, you could see it. You could see the autograph right there. That's super cool. What about this? Oh, look at that helmet.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah,
see what I mean? This is crazy. It's a beautiful collection, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Airwolf. I always thought it was a really cool show, and
yeah.
The helmet, it's a functional helmet. It's got a speed visor. I mean, it's the guy who made those. I mean, a fantastic job. The paint job. I mean, everything is awesome.
That's really cool. I remember actually playing. There was a Nintendo game, right? There was an Airwolf Nintendo game. I don't know if you guys, but
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, so that helmet actually, like, it flips up, like the visor flips up and everything.
Yeah, because on the side of the helmet, like in the show, there's 3 switches. and you can hit one switch, and it's a speed visor. It'll go up like real quick.
Gotcha. That's really
That's
cool.
That's very
Yeah.
cool.
So let's see who else we got here. Let me pull up the next batch. And oh man, I see some cool stuff coming up. All right, we got another shot of that. But here, look at that. Look at the Iron Man bust. Oh, look at that. That's the 4-footer?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, look at it. Look at it next to the Terminator. It's huge.
Yeah. Look at that. What about that the face hugger? Is that like a licensed replica, or is that something you built?
Gabe.
That's the face hugger is actually a kit that they came out with years ago, vinyl, and I decided to make like a scratch built Stacy tube like you saw in the movie. So just figured a cool way to display it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then these busts, I'm assuming the sideshow busts.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love those. It just the Iron Man busts for some reason are the ones that I'm always like so impressed. But there's just so many too now at this point that I'm like I don't even know which one I would want to get.
He repainted those, Gabe. Those.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, so that's why it looks so good.
Yeah.
The red one, the paint job from Sideshow was very dull.
Mm.
It was kind of, I don't know, it just didn't have no shine to it. So I just repainted it the gloss hot rod red.
Yeah.
And I mean, the stuff from Sideshow is fairly good right out of the box, but there's a lot of people that repaint a lot of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we had our buddy Manny on the show a couple of episodes ago. Yeah, he kind of did the same thing with the Sideshow ones. He was just like, yeah,
that's right.
It needs more gloss. It just needs to pop a little bit more, and he repainted it too.
Yeah,
it's so museum-y, Mark. When you're looking into that, the clapper boards, just how you have everything displayed. It's all just. I mean, like I said, it take a long time to see everything in his house. Like I said, I was overstaying my welcome. I felt, and it's like, no, you're good. He was so respectful. No, go ahead, man. I'm like, shit.
No, you were definitely not overstaying your welcome, but you had a huge model to take home.
Yes, I did, man. I did.
Look at that. That thing is awesome too.
Yes.
And did that come with the plaque? Mark?
Yeah, that was from, I got it off Sideshow, but the maker was Cool Props, and that was the original alien head, and it was probably the best alien head life-size version I've ever seen a company make.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And then you got your Efx Viper Helmet.
Damn.
Master.
I want those two pieces big time.
Look at that. That's so cool. And what down there, is that the alien tracker? What is that on the bottom?
Yeah, the motion tracker and pulse rifle.
Yeah.
Look at you, Gabe. Not only did you watch the movie, but now you know the props and everything.
I know Master Replicas, and I know the licensed prop companies.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. I know those things.
Yes, you do.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and it's interesting because I would see this helmet pop up like on eBay. I'd see it quite a bit, and I obviously I didn't have any interest in it at that time. But next time I see one, Michael, I'm gonna have to let you know.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I found a couple of them when I got back, and I was getting in touch with Mark, and I agreed with exactly what he said. They were just skyrocket high, and I wasn't going to do it. So
look at this. That's an awesome piece.
That little car deal is badass.
Yeah, right. Is that the little tank they go into that big building in Aliens Part 2.
Yeah, little APC model.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And I think Mark was the one the Star Wars models back in the 80s. Those were the MP3. Is that what they called them, or MPC?
MPC.
Yeah, I always mix that up. So I'm pretty confident you were the first one to do the MPC snow speeder that matched up with the 4-foot Salzo edition AT-AT, correct?
Yeah, that I made for Kurt. It was Kurt's model. Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, and I have it. And Sean up in Colorado, he just recently built that 4-foot Salzo AT-AT, and he did the same thing.
Yeah,
Even as a little guy getting ready to jump, I've got mine, crashed in the snow. I don't know if you've seen that one, Mark.
Yeah.
Ben Yetter did a great job on that. And then I just bent it up, I heated it and bent it. But I also want to get a guy diving in the snow, a little Luke diving in the snow.
No, yeah, your displays look freaking awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
So Mark, and again, my eyes always draw back to the Superman, your Superman display. So what do you have all there hanging up?
So that's just pretty much a basic. I mean, the poster's a real original edition teaser poster, which is something I pride. But the rest of it's just it's a small Reeves statue, little piece of kryptonite, and just some basic pictures.
Nice.
Yeah, I love the motion picture.
What's the one with this little like plaque there that they're just pictures describing what's going on?
Oh, near the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shows has scenes from the movie, and it has the list of characters and the year it was out.
Oh, nice. Okay. What about that sword? What is that? Is that the Narnia? No.
Yeah.
That Excalibur.
Oh, that's Excalibur. Nice. Yeah.
I love that movie, Excalibur. Was that like the 1980 one, Excalibur?
I think so. I think it was around that time.
That music, I hear that later in life on other things. Yeah, that's so cool.
One final shot here of a close-up shot of the helicopter. Man, that is so cool. And what is this made of, Mark?
It's all fiberglass.
It's all fiberglass? Wow.
But the reason, of course, as I said, I'm an Airwolf fan. The only model kit you could buy was like 1/48 scale. It's very small.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a company that sells. There's a few company that sells RC versions of it.
Mm.
This company I found had the most accurate body in detail.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I pulled the trigger on it just because I wanted a large model of it. Is basically why.
Is it somewhat functional? Like, does it the propeller spin and all that?
It's entirely RC, 100%. But I have no interest in flying it.
Yeah,
Oh wow! So it's actually like, is it gas? Is it gasoline?
No,
Or no battery.
Battery powered.
That is so cool.
Yeah, when they mess up and smash.
I know, jeez. And then I also see kind of in the background there, I see a little Blade Runner piece. What is that?
Oh, you don't miss nothing, do you?
Yeah, Gabe's good. He's good like that.
So yeah, Blade Runner. I have that's. I believe that's the blaster.
Oh wow, nice.
Man, Gabe, I don't even see that. I got a good eye.
I got a big giant screen in front of me. That's why. That is so cool. Well, did we miss anything, Mark? The pictures that you sent. That's it, right?
I mean, pictures could go on forever. It's got so many. I think it was just great. We finally, got to catch up, be on your show, and
Oh man, for sure.
So I know my schedule's been so elusive for so long, but I definitely wanted to come on and offer what I could.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, thank you so much for doing so. Like, your collection's amazing, and again, I totally different. Like I said, I totally expected you just to be like model guy and this, and no, you're like us. Like you're just kind of you're a collector, I think, at heart, and you're first and foremost a collector. Which again, I think that's a big deal for you to be a collector first, and have that passion, and then a model builder, because you're gonna see that passion in your model. So and it
Yeah,
shows.
absolutely. Hey, Gabe, would you mind? I know we're going to be wrapping up here shortly,
Yeah.
but I sent you that 40-second video. Did it come through where it's just the close up? Look, this is for the vintage viewers that love the old vintage toys, because a lot of people don't remember the Buck Rogers, and it just brings back so much to me, that nostalgia. I love that, seeing that. Do you have it by chance?
Yeah, I got it right here.
My boy. Okay, look at how these are displayed. Look at this. So this right here is the late 70s and the 80s. Look at the complete collection of the, yeah, that's badass. Look, and that's this piece. Yep, look at that. Look, that's what I was telling you about. Look how that Star Wars, just real simple, not too much. But yeah, that's the Buck Rogers. I love that. Look at that. And those are hard to find right now. I've looked, and it's hard to find, Mark. But look at this Star Wars setup. Just, it's like out of a commercial. It's just real simple, beautiful, beautiful.
Well, real quick on those toys, what I started doing, I never done before. The you know how the white plastic would yellow over the years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that X-Wing I got, I mean, it was in really good shape. It wasn't broke. It wasn't roughly played with, but it was severely yellow. So I stripped it completely down and put it in a hydrogen peroxide bath.
Yeah.
And I whitened it back up, got new decals on it. So it was actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
To kind of bring it back to what we remember pulling out of the box when it was brand new.
And how long ago was it that you did that?
Last year.
Yeah, so we've talked about it a few times on the show. I don't know if Gabe remembers. Like I had the die-cast vintage tie bomber. It's a rare piece, and all of the metal obviously stayed white, but there was a lot of plastic that severely yellowed. And I did do the same thing, the hydrogen peroxide, and we put it in the sun, and it completely whitened. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But then it's been a little over a year, and it's in a room that has no light in there except for the LEDs, and it's back to where it was. So I hopefully with your plastic it'll stay white, but especially all the trouble you went to put new decals and whatnot on there. But yeah, doing refurbishes on old toys, that is fun. I know there's a lot of people out there that get all the electronics and stuff working again as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. I haven't had one turn back yellow again, though.
Yeah, mine did. Mine did. I've only done that though. I think I might have done like an action figure once, like a Princess Leia action figure that yellowed, but I'm afraid to do that one again because it's a $2,000 little toy.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that piece. I know that's a rare one.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways,
That's really cool. Yeah, and again, I love the fact that your collection is just kind of a little bit of everything, but each piece, means something to you. And again, that's what it's about. And that's what we talk about on the show, that sometimes, you don't have to have a complete collection of something. You don't have to have, it's just the ones that mean the most to you. And I think someone who has their original toys, nicely set up is probably a better collection than any of ours combined because of what it means to them, So it's always special to have, those types of collection.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, Mark, I was gonna ask that same question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you have anything here in the near future that you got your eye on right now for your collection?
The Wonder Woman statue that came out, Linda Carter version.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that. I remember.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that I'm a Wonder Woman fan. Okay, I'm really not. But I do, of course, growing up in the 70s, Linda Carter. She was pretty much the first real Wonder Woman, and the statue they just came out with at 1/3 scale is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good.
I mean,
Yeah.
at 13, $1,400, but yeah, I've already ordered it. I'm excited to get that piece.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
No,
Have you seen that, Gabe? Have you seen it?
I have. That looks
Yeah.
great. It's a really cool piece.
Yeah. And I wasn't looking for it. I ran into it on accident. And then I'm like, shit, now I got to spend another $1,500.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on really getting anything new for the collection at any time soon.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with what I got, but then they throw this out there and I got no choice. So.
That's funny.
Awesome. Well, Mark, again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for sharing your collection with us. And it was definitely long overdue. We've definitely been talking about having you on for a while. So thank you so much for making some time for us.
Thank you. Yeah, I told Michael we would. I promised I would get around to it. And
Yeah, I kept hounding you, didn't I, Mark? I'm like, look, dude, this is ridiculous. He's like, I know. But hey, Mark, thank you so much for everything, who you are as a human being, and everything that you've done to help me personally, and your friendship, man. I really respect you, brother. Thank you so much for everything.
No, you're welcome. I'm not a hoarder. If anyone I did something or what, I'm always glad to help.
Yeah, you've proven that.
Yeah, I don't retain secrets or how I do anything. If I can help you make something for your collection, I've always been happy to help people.
Yeah, and I can tell you that's a fact. Yep.
So I'm not a hoarder. I'm not gonna keep my secrets to myself. So
yeah, good for you, brother. Good for you, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I know our viewers are excited after this episode. We've been waiting for a long time, and we got to see a little bit of everything on this show. That's awesome.
Great. Okay, we'll look forward to whatever we can do in the future.
Sounds really good, man. And me and you'll be talking soon. And by the way, he'll be heading your way probably Monday.
Okay, I'll get it.
All right, brother.
There you go,
man.
Well, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and thank you again for joining us this Saturday on Collection Wars. Stay tuned, obviously, for next week. We have a really, really special show with some very I mean, should we, Michael?
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah. So next week we're gonna have a show showcasing the Salacious Crumb life-size replica that Regal Robot came out, and we're having Tom Spina, who's the owner and founder of Regal Robot. He's going to be joining us on the panel. We're going to have Kurt Thatcher, who actually worked on Return of the Jedi with a lot of the creatures, and we're going to have Tony McVeigh on, which is the person who sculpted the original Salacious Crumb and obviously sculpted the sideshow one and the Regal Robot one. So it's going to be a very, very good show. Plus, we're going to have 2 of those figures to show because we're going to get them ahead of the public. So it's going to be an exciting show.
Only on Collection Wars, brother. Only on Collection Wars.
Mark, thank you so much, and you're welcome back anytime. Please come back sometime.
I'm sure in the future we'll have other things to share. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, man, sounds great. Thank you, Mark. My sidekick, Gabe. Love you, brother. And to all the viewers, thanks again for your Saturday night. We always appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.